Hey everyone, it's Bethany Finch with American Made Home Solution, and it's Win Wednesday. We're coming at you live today from the bluffs overlooking the beautiful Columbia River. As you can see here, flip the camera around for you. We're able to sit back and enjoy this beautiful view because of passive income. Now, we've talked quite a bit about passive income and what passive income is. But for those of you who haven't had a chance to catch those videos, passive income is when you send your money out into an investment and it does all the work for you and comes back with lots of friends. So that's passive income. You're not actively doing the work, maybe renovating the property or selling or any of that. And so because you're not actively doing the work and someone else is, it's passive income. So because of passive income, we're able to enjoy this beautiful view and the peace and solitude here because when passive income is working for you, you don't have to, and it frees up your time. So this Win Wednesday, we're going to be talking about what makes a good passive income deal, or how do you know it's a good deal, or how do you know it's the right one for you? So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. So when you're talking about a passive income, the very first thing that usually comes up is the deal. What is the deal? So a lot of times in passive income opportunities, we'll focus on one that's the most common, which is a multifamily syndication. Now, the way a multifamily syndication works is that the passive income, you become a limited partner investor on the deal. A team operates and runs the property and the asset management and any renovation and whatnot. And then you just collect a check every month or every quarter. And then if there's a sale or refinance, you collect an even bigger check. That is one of the most common ones. That is oftentimes one that we are referencing a lot when we're talking about passive income in the multifamily space of real estate. So how do you know if that deal is a good deal? Well, I am going to tell you to apply the common sense test. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be phenomenal at math. You just need to apply a few, what I would call tests of common sense. So the first thing that they almost always want to do is raise rents, right? That's the norm. They go in, they're going to renovate this property, they're going to raise the rents. But if they're raising the rents $400 per unit per door, ask yourself, one, is it sustainable? And two, can the market support that much of an increase and your occupancy still stay higher than 90%? If the answer to any of those is no, not a deal. Well, it could be a deal in a different way, but that particular strategy, if that's the only one they're employing, makes it not a deal. Some of the other common sense factors that I would suggest that you apply is when you look at the deal, do the numbers make sense? For instance, if I'm buying a property for $1 million, I'm dumping in $300,000 into renovation. So now I have $1.3 million into the deal, and I'm only selling it at $1.4 million. You do the math. That's only $100,000 profit. That is not a deal. Not a deal worth doing, I should say. Take it back, all right? So when you keep these things in mind, you want to apply common sense. First off, what's the business plan? Secondly, do the numbers make sense, right? If it's only for $100,000 and it's a 5-year hold, what kind of return are you actually going to be getting? For instance, we used the $1 million. You bought it for $1 million, you put $300,000 into it, and you're only going to sell it at 1.4, right? That was a no-go. That's a common sense rule. But the other common sense rule that you want to stop and ask yourself is multifamily properties are based not on the other properties around it sales price like a residential is, but on the income. So if you're not able to build up that income or even if you are able to build up that income so that your NOI number gets bigger and bigger, that sales price won't change. For instance, you should always be looking at a pro forma or something that shows the current market rate that they're buying it at and expect to sell it at that same rate, because that's a safe underwriting. You can make some assumptions in there, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen, right? So if you always use the exact same number, then at least you're controlling the variable. So our $1.3 million property, now we say we bought it at a 5 cap. In 5 years, we should be looking to sell it at a 5 cap as well. But the value is determined by that NOI, that net operating income. So if your cap rate stays at 5 and your net operating income didn't go up, then you haven't made any value or equity in that property, so the sales price isn't going to be there. But if you increased your NOI, say your NOI went from $100,000 to $300,000, at a 5 cap, that's a huge difference, right? So that's the common sense rules that you should apply. Simple, basic math, quick, easy, in lickety-split seconds, you can tell good deal, bad deal, nope, move along, right? The next thing that you can look at when trying to evaluate if a passive income opportunity is a good opportunity for you in regards to a multifamily syndication deal is by looking at the team. So in a multifamily syndication, it's generally not one person that is doing the whole deal, but in fact a team. Usually 3 to 4, maybe 5 people are involved. It should not be a big, 25 people, something. It shouldn't be, this huge amount, because as you know, too many cooks in the kitchen don't make good decisions, right? There's got to be some chiefs, right? So you can have lots of people on the team underneath, property management, leasing, all of that, but they're not the chiefs. So the team that I'm referring to is your GP team. They are the general partners that are usually in charge of asset management and overseeing the property, not just on the day-to-day operations, but any CapEx and renovations and things. When you're looking at that team, ask yourself, how much experience do they have? Have they ever done this before? If they have, how long ago? Has anything changed? Probably not. If anything, we've usually grown. We've learned a few things in our life and learned how to do things differently or better, right? Didn't use technology before, now we do, things of that nature. The other aspect is not just their experience, but as a team, their, what I would call their roundedness or balance. Because, for instance, if everybody on the team is not detail oriented and there's a lot of moving parts in a syndication, then those details are going to fall through the crack, right? So you want to see a balance. You want to see some people that are really good with details, some that are not so good. You want to see some that are really good with people, some that are not so good. Maybe they're the numbers guy. They do all the spreadsheets and they're the details guy, right? Where the other one is investor relations and they're really good with keeping in touch with people and communications and things of that nature. And then maybe another one is in charge of all the CapEx, right? And running the budgets and running the teams and hiring and firing and all that kind of stuff, right? So you want to see a balance throughout the team of each of the characteristics that would be necessary. When it's too heavily balanced on one side and not the other, right? Well, you kind of have that tipping effect. Well, and if you're going to tip, what's going to happen? Crash, right? And that's definitely not what you want. So looking at the team, looking for their individual experience, their experience as a team, and then the character quality traits that they each possess and what they bring to that team, how they work in symbiosis with each other. Those are the things that you want to be looking at when determining, is this passive income deal for me? Do I think it's a good deal? If the answers to the first part were yes, then moving along, now let's look at the team. If the answer to these are yes, then move along, let's look at the final piece. So the third thing that you should be looking at when looking at a multifamily passive income syndication deal is you want to be looking at the actual operator or their business plan. So the operator, it could be one person that's in charge of the asset management, or it could be several members of the team. And so you want to be looking at that operator and whoever that is, 1, 2, 3, whoever it is, what experience do they have in doing that? What's the biggest budget they've ever ran? What kind of turns or projects have they done before? Some people have the exact same skill set that is needed as an asset manager, but it's in a different field. For instance, a lot of times industrial chief operators will have a lot of the same skill sets that are needed. Or sometimes engineers, different classifications of engineers will have that very detail-oriented skill set in running budgets and things like that. Different times they're called production managers, right? So you want to be looking at that individual, looking at their skill set, looking at their plan. Do you think, how much faith do you have that they can pull this off? If the answer is is yes, then by all means, go for it. You certainly wouldn't want to miss out on an opportunity. It's worth taking the time to look into it and do your due diligence. So if looking at each one of these items, you look and you go, hey, that sounds like a great deal. I want to get started. How do I get started? What does that look like? Well, it's any multifamily syndication, they need to develop a relationship with you. So if that's something that sounds like an interest to you, you're going to want to click on the link below to get started with American Made Home Solutions. And when you do, there'll be some questions that'll pop up and we can start that relationship. There's legal processes and things that we need to follow. So we want to make sure that we're following that. So we want to make sure and click on that link. If you would just like our free download about how to determine if a passive income opportunity is a good deal, click here and you can get that free download at any time. Until next Wednesday, I look forward to talking with you again and possibly seeing what it is that you have in store with your potential next deal. How about you drop us a note below and let us know what it is you're interested in or what questions you have about multifamily passive income opportunities. Until next time, bye for now.